Good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today we'll be drinking the Great Lakes Brewery's Pumpkin Ale. 5.5% alcohol, beer brewed with pumpkin and spices, brewed by the Great Lake Brewery in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I love October. October through February, basically. My favorite time of year for beer, because my favorite types of seasonals come out. The pumpkins, the Oktoberfest, the winter warmers. I love them all. So, I get really excited at this time of year. Now, I have reviewed this before, one of my first reviews. It was last year, or the year before's bottling. I've been told this is better this year, so I decided to try it. I don't always like what the Great Lakes makes, but they always are adventurous. For here in Ontario, super adventurous with their green tea ale, orange peel ale, all that stuff. Super adventurous compared to other breweries. So, I mean, I like to give them a shot, even if I'm not going to like it. It's just fun to try. I'm going to pour it into the Caffrey's glass because I don't have one of their glasses. So, first off, not as dark as I would have expected from a pumpkin. It kind of has the same look as the Tropicana apple juice, that fresh pressed apple. It's the, well, it's an orange color, it is. It's a nice looking beer. Somewhat hazy. I wouldn't say opaque because I can see through it, but it is very hazy. Oh. Oh, baby. It does smell like pumpkin pie. I remember this not really tasting like pumpkin pie, but it smells like it. You get the fresh pumpkin in there. You get allspice, you get cinnamon, you get nutmeg. It smells like there might be some brown sugar in there. Cloves. The pumpkin, the allspice, and the cinnamon are what come out the most on this for me. Then the cloves. Then the nutmeg. And then that sweetness that smells a little bit like brown sugar. Anyway, it smells amazing. What's it taste like? It is better than last year's, I'll give it that. It's still not my favorite pumpkin ale, but it is pretty damn good. This is the pumpkin ale on the other side. I mean, the side I really love for pumpkin ales is the pumpkin pie in a glass side of pumpkin ales. This is more the real caramelly pumpkin. You do get a lot of the things you got on the nose. You get the pumpkin. The pumpkin is right there in your face. It's actually really nice. The pumpkin hits the front of your tongue. It hits the front of your tongue with a bit of allspice, and I dare say it is brown sugar in there because you get this nice sweetness that just rounds off at the front. Middle-wise, you start getting the cloves coming in. The cloves come in, they're kind of cut with the cinnamon just a tiny bit. The nutmeg fades in there. And then you get this malty taste, very malty, almost like an ale malt. I'd say it's a caramel malt. The finish, cloves and some hops. The cloves are very, very apparent in the finish. Not so clovey that I would put it in the same clove aspect as, say, the Saranac Pumpkin Ale, but very clovey nonetheless. It's very soft. You have, well, I'm having no problem putting it down. So, I mean, it is fairly drinkable. there's a little too much cloves on the back end for me. And that's about it. Because the finish with the bitterness from the hops and the cloves give you a slight watery feeling at the same time. I mean, you get the bitterness from the cloves and the bitterness from the hops, but after that bitterness, there's nothing left. It's that bitterness emanating up my throat, but really no beer taste anymore. I could easily see myself drinking this at dinner. This would be a great food pairing just because of all the different spices in it and bring out some more flavors and things. I'm starting to appreciate the caramelly pumpkin ales almost as much as the pumpkin pie and the glass ales, but the pumpkin pie and the glass ales is really where it's at for me. Those are what I strive to find. This is pretty good. This is a nice sipping beer. Unfortunately, I've already pretty much gotten rid of it since it was 650 milliliters and this is all that's left. Great Lakes, I like this year's bottling of it. Truthfully for me, all you would have to do to make me love it is just take a little bit of the cloves out. That's about it. I would give this a 7.5 out of 10. I was going to say 7.25, but you know what? Let's be honest. It's so easy drinking. It goes down so nicely. It's in such a big bottle. It's such a nice bottle that it's worth more than I was going to give it. So 7.5 out of 10.